The wheel of the year turns. The powers of life and light are waning, and the powers of darkness strengthen. Fall has come to the land, and the fall equinox fast approaches. A time when the wild world shifts from the summertime into fall. It shifts from light into darkness. It shifts from activity and blossoming into rest and stillness and the powers of the sacred dark. And at this time of the fall equinox, Persephone waits for us at a portal to the open that opens into the underworld, an ancient place of rock and earth and darkness and power, a sacred place that opens into the mysteries of the great below. For millennium, Persephone has made this journey every year at the fall and the fall equinox. She's made this journey of descent into the underworld. And if you make your way to this portal between the worlds of sunlight and darkness, this opening, this threshold into the great below, if you have the courage to make this journey, Persephone waits for you. She waits for you, and she's ready to tell you her story of her first time when she descended to the great below. So see Persephone, standing tall and regal, all clad in black. And this is not the Persephone, the maiden Persephone that we know from Greek stories. This is Persephone in her full power and sovereignty and presence. A goddess and a being and a woman who has made this descent to the underworld over and over again. And in making this descent, she has become more powerful, more sovereign, and more herself. Turn your ear to Persephone and listen to the tale that she has to tell you. Changes in the air. For millennium, your species, humanity, has forgotten my story, has warped my story, has forgotten the ways of the goddess and the sacred dark. And in this forgetting, you have made a mess of this world. You have become imbalanced. You have forgotten your whole holy nature. And yet times are changing. You have found your way back to me. You have found your way to this ancient portal to the underworld. You have found your way back to my story, my ancient story of descent to the underworld. Persephone waves her hand, and as she waves her hands, the scene in front of us shimmers and changes. And we're looking back through time, back to the very beginning, the very first time that Persephone made this descent into the underworld. And there before us is the younger Persephone with this sun-kissed skin and this innocence and joy and freedom about her as she travels in her mother's realm, surrounded by green grass and warm sunshine and wildflowers. But if we look closely, if we look right into young Persephone's eyes, we see a hunger there, a restlessness. And from this hunger and this restlessness, she starts to wander further and further and further from the protective circle of her mother, Demeter's sunlit realm. Further and further she wanders until in front of her, this vast chasm opens, this opening into the great below, into the underworld, and this being comes through that portal, and he is beautiful, and he is powerful, and he is magnetic, and she is drawn toward him. And as this cold air comes up from the underworld, and the cold breath of the cold of his breath spreads upon the land, the flowers and the plants wither. And yet when he looks into young Persephone's face, into her eyes, all you see is his love and his concern and his desire to guide her, to support her in her journey. And he reaches out his hand and he says, "Come, it's time for your awakening." For a moment, Persephone pauses. She looks over her shoulder and sees her mama's realm, her mother Demeter's realm, the world that she knows, the world that comforts her and takes care of her. And yet in front of her is this vast opening into the underworld, this vast, cold, mysterious place. And that hunger and that longing awakens in her, that courage and that strength and that desire for her to become more powerful, more knowledgeable, more Persephone. And she reaches out her hand. She looks into Hades' eyes and grabs his hand. And the earth comes and closes over them. And so begins Persephone's first descent to the underworld. And then older Persephone waves her hands once more, and the scene turns into dust. And there you are, there I am, there we are, again with Persephone at this ancient portal to the underworld. We're there with her in this now moment of the turning of the fall equinox. And Persephone says, I tell you my story. I show you my first journey, so you will understand the mysteries of the sacred dark, so you will understand the teachings and mysteries of the goddess. Life never stands still. There's something in us, all of us, be us divine or be as mortal, there is something inside of us that always wants to journey and learn and become more. And in that journey, what we find are the things that have been lost. I found my dark goddess nature. I found my courage and my ability to suffer and be present and to grow and to learn from the challenges of the underworld. And I found my way back. And I was transformed. And so too, this journey is the journey of your evolution. It is the journey of your soul. It is the journey of your longings, of your hunger, and your desire to become more and more deeply beautiful, powerful, and yourself. And it is your journey of remembering these sacred stories and these sacred ways that have been with you and been with me since the beginning and the beginning of time. And Persephone takes our shoulders and gently turns us toward the portal to the underworld. She places her hand on our backs and sends these ancient teachings inside of us so we will remember and know. And for a moment, we stand on the cusp, you, me, we stand on the cusp, and we feel the world we know behind us, the world that is familiar to us, that is comforting, that is also limiting. And before us is the great portal, the great below. And in that portal, we will find the lost parts of our soul, the lost stories of the goddess, the lost mysteries of the sacred dark. And we will find what waits for us is our own deepest and fullest becoming. So find your courage, find your desire to follow in Persephone's footsteps. Take that step toward the underworld and see a hand reach up from the depths towards you. And this hand is a mysterious ally. It may be Hades, it may be Persephone, it may be an ancestor, it may be your own deep soul. But take that hand and say yes, and turn your ear to the great below. And hear these words. Come, it's time for your awakening. So blessings on your fall equinox journey. Blessings on however this ancient story of Persephone speaks to your soul and your journey at this time. And blessings from Karen from the Path of She. Blessed be. To delve deeper into Persephone's tale of the transformative powers of the sacred dark, please consider the Path of She Fall Guided Journey, available at the link provided below. To further explore the potent soul lessons that the goddess offers throughout the year, get the Path of She Book of Sabbats, a journey of soul across the seasons. To buy the Path of She Book of Sabbats, click on the link below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my Path of She channel for more goddess wisdom teachings.